You'll probably think I'm crazy and paranoid, but believe me, I wouldn't want any of the following to be true. I was sitting at home alone, sipping a beer and watching another show. It was already about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was inexorably drifting off to sleep. I turned off the computer, but as soon as my head touched the pillow, the beer came out, and I had to get up. I left the light on in the bathroom out of habit, and that's when it all started. I remembered all my childhood fears and the horror movies I'd seen throughout my life. The sticky fear enveloped me more and more, and now I was scared to come out of the jolt. But I overcame myself and walked calmly to the bed. In the morning, remembering this incident, I only laughed and immediately forgot it. But the lower the sun went down, the more the tension increased. For some reason, I did not want to stay home alone. I even called a few people, offering to have a drink with them, but everyone was busy. What happened next that evening changed my life forever. It was already evening. I was sitting at my computer as usual. Suddenly, I heard a noise coming from the other room. I turned down the volume and heard it again. I thought it was the neighbors, but I decided to check it out. As I walked down the hallway to the room it was coming from, I heard it again, and that's when I got really scared. It was the sound my parrot used to make when he started beak banging on the mirror. The cage was flimsy, so it rattled a lot. That would have been okay, but my parrot had died a couple years ago. Overcome with fear, I opened the door, but of course there was nothing inside. An hour and a half passed, and 1.5 liters of beer went through me, and the fear gradually subsided. Remembering that I had vodka in the refrigerator, I decided to go out, although I never drank vodka alone. Going into the kitchen, I again did not turn on the light, and as soon as I opened the refrigerator, I felt a heavy stare on me. In a second, fear turned to panic, but I was afraid to move. The light of the refrigerator bulb was the only thing protecting me at that moment. The thing that was standing behind me, staring at me, began to move closer. And I stood staring at the piece of sausage and prayed for a miracle. And it happened. The refrigerator beeped nastily, reminding me not to keep it open for more than 30 seconds, and the stare disappeared. Grabbing a vodka, I flew into the room, turned on the lights, started the music, and sat there until morning, not washing my eyes. After that, I was afraid to stay home alone for a week. I either invited my friends over or stayed at their place. And when I was alone, I turned on the lights in the whole apartment and tried not to leave my room. I cooked food during the day and brought it to my room so that at night I would have something to eat, because I could not sleep properly. I can also add that I started to drink a lot. In the alcoholic frenzy, everything seems not so terrible. After a month or so, I forgot about the whole thing, but I still kept the lights on everywhere. Sometimes I thought about all this and finally came to the conclusion that I had a problem with my head, because I had never seen any physical evidence of the existence of the things that frightened me so much. That thought was like the last boat on a sinking ship. I promised myself that if this ever happened again, I'd just make an appointment with a psychiatrist and we'd work out my problems together. But it turned out to be much worse. One day, after drinking 3 liters of beer, I fell asleep. When I woke up in the night with a strong urge to pee, I got up and on autopilot went to the toilet. As soon as I opened the bathroom door, I broke into a sweat and goosebumps started running down my back. The light was only on in the bathroom. Only in the bathroom. Although I had turned on all the lights in the apartment myself. Once inside, I shut the door on the latch and huddled in a corner, praying that the bathroom light would stay on. If it did go out that day, I would surely go insane. In the morning I found myself crying by the toilet. My bones ached, a good half of my nerve cells must have died, but I didn't care about any of that. The main thing was that I was alive. The next week I went on such a bender that I wouldn't recommend it to an enemy. But it was impossible to drink endlessly, and there was no money for booze. When I sobered up, I realized that everything was even worse. Now I felt the gaze always on me, even in the daytime with the light on. I wish I could end my story at this point, but the creepiest thing is happening right now as I type this. The door to my room is equipped with patterned, murky glass through which only silhouettes can be seen. For the past hour, I've been noticing some movement behind the glass out of the corner of my eye. I tried not to look toward the door, but finally I couldn't help myself. When I looked at the door, I was indescribably horrified. Through the glass I could see it. I don't know what it is, but it's looking at me from behind the door, and I'm more scared than I've ever been in my life.